Well, welcome back to the allotment, and it's really early in the morning again. I'm down here trying to do a bit more. Obviously, if you saw my last video, you'll see I've got an awful lot of annual plants to now think about setting out. So one has to sort of, I've got to go and spend quite a bit of time doing that, and so obviously time is quite limited here, hence why I come quite early in the morning. But a bit of a milestone. I have now got some stuff planted on the allotment. It's not a lot, but and as you'll see a little, just further on in the video, I've now got 3 complete rows and 3.5 rows of potatoes. I managed to find some late seed potatoes that a firm had still got. Obviously it's getting late, it's the middle of May, but it's worth putting them in. As I say when I'm doing that, and you'll see, and other than that, it's just a question. I've got my spade back out and I'm turning a little bit more soil over, just getting the pernicious weeds out that I can, like the couch grass and the bindweed. It's news on the allotments we have, and I'll probably do a little bit of video at the end of it and show you. We have now got a reasonably good fence around us with some gates, which is brilliant. So we are self-enclosed in this little bit of this field, which is rather nice. And the fence has been designed also to keep animals. There's a lot of deers, there's a lot of badgers around here, a lot of munkjack deer particularly. We don't suffer from rabbits, sadly. The rabbits have died out around here, but we do get badgers and munkjack deer. It was brilliant to get all your lovely comments on the last video. Thank you very much. I mean, the thing about gardening, I'm no expert. I've gardened all my life, and anybody that says they know everything about gardening is a total and utter fool, because you never stop learning about gardening, and it's always interesting to get other people's views, other people's thoughts. Whatever way you garden, I enjoy hearing about that, and whatever I do probably doesn't suit your sort of gardening, but I think if people are having a go and trying their hand at gardening, I think it's brilliant, and that's the main thing. And as I say, you never ever stop learning about gardening. Well, I haven't anyway. Every year's different. Some things you do really well one year and then you can't grow them the next. So yeah, that was brilliant to get your comments on that video. So this morning, on some of the earlier cultivated ground, this has only been turned over about a couple of weeks, and had a bit of the growth removed. I'm going to plant. I've already set to the side of this. You can just probably see there's a lot of rubbish starting to grow already there, but never mind that. I'm going to have another row of potatoes. I managed to, it's getting really late to buy seed potatoes, and I bought some seed potatoes, and I'm going to put another row. Those are earlies, those 2 rows there. They go right across the plot, and this row is the only main crop I could get that was left was Desiree, which is a red potato. I have grown it before, did really well over my other allotment, but that was slightly different, soil, and I'd got it well cultivated when I grew them there. Potatoes, as somebody kindly commented in all those lovely comments on the last video of me showing you this new allotment, somebody did kindly comment, the potatoes are ideal for clearing ground. I think their comment was they're as good as putting 2 or 3 pigs on the ground to rootle about. I've always known that, so hence I don't think we're going to get many potatoes off these, and that's dependent on the weather, and if we get the water supply onto the site, and many things, but it's worth a try. These haven't cost me a lot of money. It's worth putting something in the ground, trying to get something to grow. And I should go along. I've dug a trench out, roughly marked with my line across, equal distance either end. A good 2 foot from the last row of potatoes there, and my trench is roughly about 6 inches deep. You can push the potatoes. I've got a nice loose bottom as well. There's plenty of nice loose soil there on the bottom of the trench. Us down here, you know, the soil isn't too bad. You know, I've got quite a nice depth of soil, not too much of that horrible stodgy clay. So yeah, we'll have a go and see. So I have got a little bit of organic chicken manure pellets. I'm not going to actually scatter that in the trench. I'm going to scatter it on the top, you know, as I come down. Got quite a lot of bits of, you know, more grass and twitch sort of thing, and all kind of a manner of, you know, of growth out, and I should probably get some more out when I fill the trench back in. So I've just broken my tripod, so I don't know how well this will all come out. The joys of trying to do videos. So as I say, they're the wrong ones. Last few earlies I've got. So, yeah. Obviously these potatoes have got shoots on already. That's, you know, the Desiree. Some people might think that's too big for a seed. And I know some people would cut that, but I wouldn't on this type of ground. There's going to be enough pests and earworms and slugs and all sorts, so I'm going to leave them whole, and just sort of sit them in the bottom of the trench like that. You know, I think what the norm is for anything between 9 and 12 inches apart, so I'm not going to worry there again too much about that. This is a bit of a, I get caught up in that, and you tend to, we'll try and keep the shoots on. This is more of a bit of a ground clearing exercise, you know, just to get something growing on the ground as much as anything. So as I say, we'll just put them about that distance. But I want a bit closer actually. And if it gives us any potatoes, you know, well, that's an added bonus if we get anything off them. So there we go, that's roughly, I've got another bag which will take me right to the end, and I'll come back when I've set the rest and started to fill in. So it's just about an hour of filling back in. As you can see, you perhaps can't see where you are with the camera, but you know, I've got loads of rubbish still here. You know, I'm trying to pick as much of the couch grass, bindweed, out as possible as I go, but obviously there's going to be an awful lot come back up. You know, we know that. Ground takes a long while to get. Somebody did say in the last comments, and there again, I somewhat tend to agree, when they strip this allotment to supposedly rotivate it, they took the best they took the best bit of topsoil off, which is very true. I had to agree with that comment. That often happens. Often you get people setting allotments up in all goodwill who probably aren't gardeners, and they just wanted bare plots to show to people and let to people. And obviously, so we have lost probably a couple of inches of the more decent topsoil with the grass when it was scraped off. So unfortunately, and we're not allowed here. You can put strips of ground cover down. You can put strips, but you can't put, you couldn't cover supposedly, because it's this field is a tenancy from our parish council, from Lord Northampton of the Castle Ashby estate. You supposedly can't cover large swathes of the plot in a tarpaulin sheet or plastic or whatever, say. A lot of people are putting certain amount of deep, of beds and wooden things and creations. I'm afraid I'm more of a traditional gardener. I should try and keep it, as it is, the soil, and work the soil. It may take me, a good few years. If that's the case, I think it will, looking at the quality of the soil here. But that's the way I like to garden. I'm not into these raised beds. But if that's your thing, so be it. I don't knock it. I think everybody's entitled to their opinions and views and how they want to garden. If you want to go the no-dig system, as somebody also commented, I think that's brilliant. If that suits you and your way of gardening. I was brought up, my grandfather was a market gardener, and he was very traditional in his views on gardening. Not all that I didn't agree with him as a teenager, when I got really friendly with him and we kind of bonded about gardening, and but he taught me so much. And so no, gardening is a very individual thing, and you must, but so we can't cover large swathes of our plots here to kill any growth like that you might. So there we go, that's another row of potatoes in. It's a bit rough and ready, but they're set. I'm sure they'll be okay. You can see I've got another full bucket of rubbish off as well, which is great. That's what this is all about, really, trying to start clearing the ground as best I can. So yeah, I'll carry on. I've got just a few more early potatoes, which I'm just going to put a little bit of a part row in here. So there we are. I've got 3 and a bit rows of potatoes in there now, which I'm quite pleased with. I shall now carry on, just sort of clearing a bit more ground, sort of roughly. I'm not going to say I'm really digging it or double digging it or anything like that, really. It's the wrong time of the year to be thinking about that. I'm just sort of turning it over and trying to keep the bedded soil on top, and trying to pick some of the couch grass and particularly the bindweed, which is quite prolific here. Just get some of that out. Obviously, that's why I think it's fatal if you, rotivate it, and with all that bindweed in, you tend to cut it up, and it just cuts into hundreds of little bits, and every bit of that is a potential plant to grow. So it is a devil of a difficult weed, to keep control of. So I don't know how well you'll see this, but if I take the camera to the zoom as far as possible, you see we've now got a gate and a secure 5 foot, quite thickish mesh fence, right around the perimeter. Then there's another gate there, over there, and another gate down the bottom. I think they are going to put something at the bottom of the gate to stop any animals getting in there, because it is quite a wild site up here. So there we go. We are fenced in at last. We could just do with these water tanks that are coming on 2 plots, and the water supply which is being bought from the village hall, because people are starting to set stuff now. There's some raspberries set next door to me, and somebody's got some things in a cloche there, or net rather. I think they look like cabbage or Brussels plants, which we shall see how they do. So yeah, and several other bits and pieces. People have got some bean canes up, and thinking about setting runner beans now. So the site really does need a permanent supply of water badly, I feel, because it's going to be the sort of it's virgin ground. It's going to bake off in the summer very hard, so it's going to need quite a bit of watering, I think, if you set anything or got anything coming up. Anyway, there we go. There's another little look at the allotment.